But this one kind of struck a little close to home, and I felt the need to vent a little bit. Samantha Bee did a segment on CPAC, and as she was showing footage of it, she was cut to a person with. He had no hair on the sides of his head, he just had hair on the top of his head, and called him a Nazi for his haircut. Not to his face, obviously, because that would require some courage. No, it was like a cameraman far off in the distance zoomed in on this guy. She's like, and here we see a Nazi. And it was some guy who only had hair on the top of his head. Turns out he's a stage 4 cancer patient who's lost the hair on the side of his head as a result of chemotherapy. We're at a point now where people are so hysterical that everything is a Nazi. We don't even take a moment to investigate, to figure out a person's political views. Now we just jump to the conclusion that they're a Nazi. Samantha Bee has a history of shit like this. In fact, let me tell you all my personal experience with Samantha Bee. Comic book nerd, go to Comic-Cons. New York Comic Con. Samantha Bee, this was before she had her show. This was when they were filming stuff to get ready for the show. Like, they needed to get material ready, like a backlog to work forward from. And they were doing a bit on Comic-Con and how sexist Comic-Con is. And they were basically going up to all the comic artists who are essentially pinup artists, and they're not even ashamed to say it. You know, like the Frank Cho's. If you know comic arts, you know I'm talking about, like, you know, the Frank Cho's of the world. And just basically, like, you know, making fun of them and ripping into them for being so sexist. Taking up their time, that when they're at conventions, by the way, they rent those tables, they put their money down, so that way people will come and pay for them to do sketches. So by you wasting his time by shoving a camera crew in his face and lowballing him into thinking, oh god, I'm going to get interviewed by someone on TV, this is going to be a big break, and it's actually just you trying to rip on him for being sexist, you're so virtuous. And the thing is, though, that conniving, manipulative monster didn't interview the biggest pinup artist in the comic industry, Amanda Connor, who's a woman who draws sexy woman. See, she wouldn't talk about that, or the fact that she is the most successful, popular one in the comic industry, because that would break her narrative that all people who go to these comic conventions are super sexist people. If you don't know who Amanda Connor is, you've probably seen her work. If you've ever, and god, I hate this show, but whenever I catch it, I'm like, oh hey, her artwork is in the background. In The Big Bang Theory, a lot of the pinups are hers. A lot of, like, the comic booky, not the classical retro pinups, the more modern day comic book aesthetic pinups, a lot of those are hers. So, of course, she's not going to go and interview the most popular pinup artist to get her take on is the comic book success. Do an actual investigation. You know, maybe interview some of the other female comic artists who aren't pinup artists, like, you know, the Sarah Pacellis of the world, who are amazing. Probably one of the better artists in the industry is right now. Fiona Staples, probably the best. She does digital painting for her comic art. She's probably the best in the industry right now. Of course, no, we're not going to go talk to her. Why would we do that? You know? We can't have anything that breaks the narrative. So that was my first exposure to her before she even had her show. This was when they were getting ready for the show. And basically everyone on the show was like, can you believe this bitch? Can you believe what these idiots are doing? It's ridiculous. So, from the moment I knew her name, I knew her as someone who is manipulative like that. And I saw the footage of what she did with the Comic-Con stuff, and it was, ugh. But the fact that now we're at a much more harsher political climate. Before it was, you're a sexist. Now we're just at, you're a Nazi. If someone ain't going 1488, they ain't a Nazi. And if you don't know what that means, you don't know enough about neo-Nazis or white supremacy to identify a Nazi. You know, that's the thing that gets me. Anyone who's a conservative, whose hair isn't up to your standard, is a Nazi. Let me actually give you a perspective on why someone who's going through the healthcare system, like a stage 4 cancer patient, might be a conservative. The healthcare system has gone to shit since the liberals hijacked it. since Obamacare came in. The quality of healthcare is worse in this country. So yeah, maybe someone would be, paying attention to the one party trying to change that right now. And I'm not a big fan of the plan that Paul Ryan's put forward, but the Democratic Party isn't putting any plan forward. They're just going to let Obamacare stall out and spiral out in control until it bankrupts, which it already is bankrupt, but that's beyond the point. So, I can understand how someone with stage 4 cancer going through our current medical system could come out of it a conservative. But no, it's much easier to, instead of interviewing the person and finding out why is he at CPAC, what brings him here. Or even better yet, if you want to find out if there is white supremacy or neo-Nazis at CPAC, you can interview people and ask them their takes on it, Most neo-Nazis... I got my thumb in front of the camera, sorry. Most neo-Nazis are not shy about their views, unfortunately. Alright, as a Jewish person, I can tell you that for a fucking fact. Most neo-Nazis are not shy about how they feel. So go and interview people, Hunter S. Thompson wanted to know what's up with the Hells Angels, the biker group. He did a book with them. He did a... My dog is going crazy in the background, I apologize. He went and spent, I think, a couple of months of his life with them and wrote a book about it, and he portrayed them in an honest fashion. Do something like that, but no, we're not real journalists. We're an entertainment show. We're just here to poke fun at people who have cancer. I have seen Antifa people, the anti-fascists, go after people with alopecia who have no hair on their head for being a neo-Nazi. Ignore the fact that the person who had alopecia lost it because he had to carry a radio pack in Afghanistan that he knew, and the army knew, had small amounts of radiation that could cause, hair loss. He lost his hair because he carried around a radio backpack in Afghanistan, fighting for these idiots. And instead of having a legitimate conversation, they want to shut down a conversation by, you're a Nazi. We're just going to shut down the conversation. How are you supposed to debate that? What has the person done to actually express views of white supremacy or sympathy with the Third Reich or love of Hitler? I mean, do you know enough about it? About Nazis to identify them? It's along the same lines of, forever ago when PewDiePie did, that hand signal. He had his hand off camera like that, like I am right now. See, I'm smart enough not to show my whole hand. And he was pointing something off camera, but they just, took that screenshot. He's doing the Hail Hitler. If you're hysterical and everyone who doesn't fit into your little cookie-cutter mold is a Nazi, no one's taking you seriously. In fact, I'm a little bit ashamed that I'm giving you any attention right now by making this video, but it just... The targeting conservatives bothers me. I have sympathy with people who have not just cancer, but a lot of really fucked up life-altering illnesses. I have a lot of sympathy for people with that. I think any human being would. And I'm sorry if this sounds like I'm virtue signaling, because I'm not. These people piss me off and they shouldn't have a platform, but, I guess, does she get any ratings? Do people watch this shit? I know no one watches Trevor Noah. He's a fuck. Trevor Noah has actually said anti-Semitic remarks. How about we go after him for that? No, we're just going to target a person from off in a distance. We're going to point a camera on him and call him a Nazi. Not even going to give him a moment to defend himself. I don't know how you can defend yourself from someone calling you a Nazi. I'm not. I mean, this is political discourse in 2017. At this point, fine, you want to call me a Nazi? I don't care anymore. There's a Rick and Morty clip I posted on my channel. It's a Nazi going, I'm comfortable being called a Nazi. Nothing hurts me. I don't care. You fuckers want to be assholes about this. You want to call anyone who doesn't fit in your cookie cutter a Nazi? Fine. Fine. Great argument. Great argument. You're going to win so many people over your side. How did that work for you guys in the 2016 election, trying to just name call instead of actual discussion and argument? Sorry, this video is longer than I normally make my videos. It's just, as you can see, I was worked up. I wasn't going to do a video on this, but just, ooh, it was grinding my gears. It was grinding my gears. So Samantha Bee, you should be ashamed of yourself. I know you apologized on Twitter, but you can do better. If you really are a good person, you really are apologetic, how about you give all the money you made from doing that episode to this kid to pay for his treatment? Because he has stage 4. There's no stage 5. Very few people come back from stage 4. He probably needs all the help he can get. In fact, I wonder, this guy probably has a GoFundMe. I knew his name, but I decided not to commit it to memory because by this guy's name being put out there and being called a Nazi, it's not going to do him any favors. I mean, the kid's heart, I say a kid, he's probably like in his like early 20s, they said. He's a little bit younger than me. He's not really a kid. Though I guess I'm a kid. Because his life's hard enough. He has cancer. He doesn't need this bullshit from people with you who are privileged and do nothing but complain about others. So, since the only argument you people understand is, just name-slinging crudeness, how about this? Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. I hope your show gets canceled. And I just hope you go away. I don't wish harm on you other than financial harm. That would be pretty good. I'd like to see you lose your job because you shouldn't have it. But I just hope you lose your platform and you go away. Just go be quiet. Or go be like Hillary Clinton, where every now and again you pop up and try to seem relevant and everyone just points and laughs at you. You people make Michael Savage look right when he says liberalism is a mental disorder. You people are not helping your own cause. Anyway, sorry this has been a little bit of a ramble and a rant. God bless.